You thought the king of rock and roll is dead. What if I told you this guy right here is Elvis Presley, alive and kicking in 2017? Let's find out. What's up guys, this is Roman here and today let's talk about the entire mystery surrounding Elvis Presley's death. In this video we're going to analyze a few pieces of evidences and some video proof which will jog your brain cells and make you question the very death of the king of rock and roll. With that said, sit back and enjoy. It was on 16th August 1977 when Elvis was found, well, almost dead in his bathroom of his Graceland mansion. He was immediately rushed to a hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. After some time he was declared dead and the cause of death was irregular heartbeat. But the fishy thing is, irregular heartbeat is a condition that can only be diagnosed while a person is still alive. An autopsy was conducted in order to detect the accurate cause of death, and 3 days later, the coroner issued the death certificate which stated that the cause of death was hypertensive cardiovascular disease along with drug overdose. His stepbrother David Stanley claimed that Elvis might have committed suicide. Things became more mysterious when Elvis's father Vernon decided to keep Elvis's autopsy report and the death certificate private. However, these documents will be available to the public in 2027, 50 years after the so-called death of the king of rock and roll. Some sources also reported that the nurse who attended to Elvis at the hospital was convinced that the patient was not Elvis. She allegedly received a warning from the higher authorities to keep her mouth shut. This is when all the theories started coming up. On 18th August 1977, Elvis Presley's funeral was arranged and Robert Kendall of the Memphis Funeral Home was his funeral director. Elvis was buried in an $8,000 casket similar to that of his mother. In November 1977, Elvis was reburied at Graceland upon his father's request. During the funeral, a particular picture was taken which showed Elvis lying in his coffin. This picture fueled the entire mystery behind the supposed death of Elvis Presley. Have a look at this picture. Most critics and fans deny this picture and claim that the body shown is a wax dummy and not Elvis. People also went as far as claiming that they could see the wax dummy melt because of the heat. In 1988, 11 years after Elvis had passed away, one of the most interesting stories about his fake death came up as author Gail Giorgio wrote a book called The Most Incredible Elvis Presley Story Ever Told. The book was later renamed Is Elvis Alive? The book reached number 8 on the New York Times bestseller list. Prior to the death of Elvis, Giorgio had written a novel about a popular southern singer called Orion, who also faked his death. Very soon after Elvis Presley's death, an actual singer called Orion, who looked and sounded a lot like Elvis, came up. It was later discovered that this performer was actually a lesser-known singer called Jimmy Ellis. One of Giorgio's claims revolves around a tape in which a male voice, which sounds similar to that of Elvis, was discussing and plotting the details of Elvis Presley's fake death. Gail Giorgio went on to say that Elvis might have faked his own death in order to escape the pressures of fame. A lot of evidences were recovered which established that there might have been more than one reasons behind the untimely death of Elvis Presley. Now before we look at the video footage, let's talk some stats. It was confirmed by Dr. Torrent that he had started noticing a sudden change in Elvis's mental health following an accident in 1967. Elvis had suffered a bad head blow, which is also known as traumatic brain injury, as he slipped over an electric cord and cracked his head on the edge of a porcelain bathtub. Evidence has also revealed that Elvis was taking around 8,000 tablets or injectables in the 7 months prior to his death. The numbers went as high as 19,000 in 1975. These numbers might seem absolutely ridiculous, but these stats came from a group of experienced investigators who visited 150-odd pharmacies and analyzed numerous prescriptions. Now this one is quite a shocker. As you guys might know, Elvis Presley's full name is Elvis Aaron Presley, and he used to spell Aaron with a single A, but quite shockingly the Aaron on his gravestone is spelled with 2 A's. I can understand people arguing the fact that this might be a spelling mistake. But if it was a spelling mistake, you would expect his family to get it corrected. Personally, I find this one very ridiculous. Many people tend to believe that this is a sign from Elvis himself, who is trying to communicate with his fans and letting them know that the king is still there. With that out of the way, let's look at some images and videos that will help you choose which side you want to be on. The number of Elvis sightings throughout the years has been astronomical. The sheer amount of people who have reported Elvis sightings in Ottawa, Canada led to a particular road being named Elvis Lives Lane. While people have gone out of the way trying to prove Elvis sightings all over USA and Canada, the king might still be living in his Graceland mansion. Here's the video, have a look. Now let's analyze this video. This is a video of the groundskeeper of Graceland taken in 2016. Now considering a hypothetical situation where Elvis is still alive, he should be around 81 years old while this tape was recorded. This so-called groundskeeper does look right around the same age to me. But the only thing I'm skeptic about is, even if this guy is Elvis, I don't expect him to go around walking like that considering his medical history. Now something that has been mentioned in the description of this video really caught my attention. What it actually says is, you see this V symbol, it actually symbolizes 9 in the international numerical value. In numerology, 9 is supposed to depict the proof of life. So necessarily, Elvis is trying to convey that he is alive. This video also compares the way Elvis used to walk, and you see that t-shirt, Elvis confirmed. I mean, it sounds too far-fetched to me, but big ups to the person who uploaded this, went out of the way to draw these conclusions and comparisons. You'll find a link to the original video in the description. Now there are a lot of images and videos circling the internet about the king still being alive. Let's look at a few others. This is a picture of Jesse Jackson and Muhammad Ali taken in 1984. But what caught the attention of people is the person in the background who resembles Elvis to some extent. This is another image of a possible Elvis sighting. Well, you decide for yourself. What do you think? Is there any chance that there is any truth to these sightings? Vote in the poll. We could go on for days talking about possible Elvis sightings, but I guess we should call it quits now. My personal stand on this is, I don't really buy this "he is alive" argument, but there are so many things that I can question. Specifically, the name on the gravestone thing. It's really questionable. Guess I'll leave you guys with another Elvis sighting video. And by the way, all the articles and videos will be linked in the description. Do check them out. So the next time you look at a guy with white beard and black shades, look again. You might be looking at Elvis. That's all for today guys. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and check out this other video. Do subscribe if you want to see similar content in the future. My name is Romil and thanks for watching.